YouTube, DoctorC3 here. We are officially back with the CPL Season 2 Week 3 weekly recap. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, whoa, what's going on? This is incredibly late, you know, how could you, pitchfork mom mentality. If you guys actually watch weekly and you guys are supporting, first of all, thank you so much, and I apologize for being so late. I'm in the middle and process of getting everything moved around. I had to switch rooms. Some new furniture's coming in and stuff, and I was out without a computer for a few days, so that is the reason why this is late. Don't worry though, we're gonna be on time with the other videos, I promise you, and I figured I'd get this out as quick as I can, and that way, you know, we're not behind. So these videos that are gonna be coming up are gonna not feature as much color commentary. So like I said, I want to experiment the first 3-4 weeks to see what everyone likes the most, right? Come to a census and figure out, okay, what is the majority value? Do they value me trying to predict? Do they value me just adding bits and pieces as to what was important in plays? So I'm gonna be a little more silent, and I'm just gonna kind of watch with you guys, and if there's an opportunity where there's a good play, I'm gonna address it, right? And I don't know which is going to be better, so we'll find that out. Because I'm taking this style, for example, as you can see on the screen right now, we have the San Antonio Espers versus the Enigmatic Elecmortars, Carbonite versus Cullen, of course, the other Cullen in the league, and just looking at the teams, I'm not going to be making any predictions as to leads. I'm not going to be doing all that jazz. I'm simply just going to throw out my notes in terms of as we're moving forward. So, things I like to note. For example, Enigmatic has not brought Mega Altaria yet. As you can see, there's no Altaria on the screen. It's a little bit surprising to me. We do see Cullen with the Mega Absol. And this is the first time Mega Absol's hit the field on his side too. So, a lot of cool things. And I say we are just going to jump right into it. Like I said, I'm not going to be commentating over each play, just the plays that I think are going to be a little more valuable in the match, right? And we do see the Oricorio all on the lame side, so, and he leads with it, so it's a pretty interesting lead here. So as you can see, Enigmatic, obviously with Xurkitree being out there, has the momentum. Oricorio has the U-turn, so he's going to try and gain back the momentum. Druddigon is most likely his dedicated lead, as we do see the Z move come out for Enigmatic, which is Z Hypnosis. He misses it, a little unfortunate on his end, but it is what it is. Second time's a charm, right? So now he's got the +1 speed, and he's just going to go straight for the sweep here with the Tail Glow. Now, if I had to guess, I'd say that this Druddigon is especially defensive. As you can see, even with the Tail Glow, that didn't one-shot it, which is amazing. And the Earthquake wasn't able to one-shot the Xurkitree. So, they're in a little bit of a stalemate here. I think Carbonite keeping in his Xurkitree, even though, like, it's a double-edged sword, right? So he got the setup, and Oricorio is going to be able to come back out now and revenge him. So we know it's a Scarf Oricorio at this point, right? And in my opinion, I just think that Xurkitree had a lot of potential to do some work against things like Skarmory, things like Absol, being able to outspeed at +1. So I'm surprised he would set up as early, but I understand why he would do that. So we have the Skarmory fearing a Thunderbolt, obviously, from the Nidoking, as Sheer Force Nidoking is a huge threat, but we see the Fire Blast instead, so good tech, good play for Enigmatic to switch out there. And San Antonio knowing that the Psychic, or, yeah, I'm sorry, San Antonio was the one with Skarmory. Forgive me, it's been a while, but that Nidoking, obviously for Enigmatic's end, really forcing some switches, and Slowking playing the proper prediction, getting out, or getting in and getting back out now, as you can see. But we have the Lucario now on the field, And Hitmontop does have that priority with the Intimidate, so it's a good Lucario counter, in my opinion. Good Lucario counter, in my opinion. So, only been a few knockouts in the match. But this is going to be a long game, folks. This is 50 turns, so we got some defensive, bulky Pokemon on either side. The Slowking, obviously, with the Regenerator, Hitmontop with Intimidate, and not to mention, Komala did come for Enigmatic, as well as that Cresselia that can just be a pain sometimes. As you see, the switching game is going to go on for quite a while. Quite a while, if I had to say so myself. There may be a point in time where I just cut out a commentary and speed up the process, just because of how switchy this could be. So we'll see if it gets there, and you'll know obviously whenever my voice cuts out. First time Kamala's hitting the field. Both these teams just really trying to gain offensive momentum here with some pivoting, some U-turns. Obviously Enigmatic likes the turning because Slowking gets to come back in essentially for free every time, as the San Antonios are finally making a push for hazards. They set out some spikes now, trying to slow this switching down. That's a very good play on Colin's end, because now, you know, everything's Kartana really doesn't want to be taking some spikes, especially if it's a Sash set, you know. That's one of those early game reads, especially if you're forcing a lot of switches, to make. And it's just one of those reasons why Skarmory is still considered a good threat in competitive league format, even though Celesteela is the better Steel Bird at this point. But you can see Slowking's getting chipped down ever so slightly, right? It's not fully recovering. We see Future Sight come up for the Enigmatic, and that's going to be a valuable play, right? Because if he's able to force some switches within the next 2 turns, especially with the Dragon Tail, that could be a very deadly attack. So interesting set here for Slowking. Dragon Tail, Future Sight. Oricorio Fire is going to come right back out to take this attack, and it is nearly going to get bopped. I don't believe that the San Antonio Espers have anything this week to be able to heal, unless he has Healing Wish Cresselia, which I don't think he would bring, but you never know. You never know with this stuff. So, again, just trying to figure out a way to force the Slowking out, and Absol's going to be the play. Mega Absol is one of those Pokemon that can really threaten the Enigmatic's team at this point. So he's going to go back out in the Hitmontop, obviously, to get that Intimidate off and to resist the dark, you know, whatever it may be. If it's a mixed set, if it's going to have Crunch, if he went just all special, fearing the Intimidates and going Dark Pulse, what have you. So we're going to see the knockoff just straight up going for the utility, trying to, you know, best bang for his buck, especially knowing that he might be able to switch out. He does miss the play rough on the Hitmontop, and that most likely is going to take him out even at -1. I mean, this Angela here, that's base 150 attack stats, so play rough definitely would have knocked out this Hitmontop even at -1. There's no doubt in my mind. That was an unfortunate miss, but at the end of the day, Hitmontop's going to be able to get rid of those spikes that the San Antonios were hoping to keep for quite some time here. As Nidoking, we know at this point, has the Fire Blast, so good plays on Enigmatic and saying, you know what, I need to start threatening some things out of here, so I'm just going to try and hit the hardest moves that I can. Fire Blast does connect, but, you know, Special Defensive Cresselia is something that everyone wants to spike their DS into the floor for. That's for certain. So we get back to this switching game here. Now, one thing to note is Moonduck only has 8 Moonlights, which can be crucial here, right? We see that there's 50 turns, we're already 30 in, so the Switch game is going to start to wind down to an end here pretty soon, as San Antonio says, you know what, I'm not really fearing if he knocks out Oricorio at this point, and Oricorio is Scarf, so we do see the air slash miss, excuse me for that. Probably wasn't going to do that much, just because, you know, no offense to Colin, but it's an Oricorio, it's, you know, and this is a Slowking here. It was going to be able to take the hit. But him on top is going to come back out here, try and get another Intimidate off. And not to mention that Future Sight from Slowking isn't going to be able to hit the Absol. And that was a good read on Collins and going for the play rough, knowing that Hitmontop has to switch in. Two of them are going to be able to take out that Hitmontop, and I had to stand corrected. That was especially defensive Hitmontop, as we could tell by the play rough damage, or physically, I'm sorry. Either that, or I really underestimate Hitmontop's defensive bulk to begin with. So we do see the Lucario come out, so we have U-turn momentum on the Komala too, which is very, very good tech, running all these pivoting, trying to get Kartana in as much as possible, trying to get Nidoking as much as possible. I'm really surprised that he went into Kartana, and he's going to play this double game, right? He knows that Lucario has to go for something like a close combat or a vacuum wave, which is a good tech on Collins' end to bring vacuum wave, knowing that Kartana really can't take that. And Enigmatic is just really trying to make sure that the Slowking comes in as much as possible. And here we have the Cresselia come right back out. So there is a reason why this game went to 50 turns, of course, folks. Both of these teams are incredibly bulky and incredibly stally, and you know, none of them have a clear, effective way of taking out Slowking and Cresselia without wanting to take, you know, crucial damage to their sweepers here. We see the Future Sight not really do much to the Moonduck, so I'm surprised at this point Enigmatic hasn't clicked Dragon Tail. He's probably fearing the Mega Absol coming back in, so I understand it. And we do see the Lunar Dance, so I stand corrected, it wasn't Healing Wish, but rather Lunar Dance is going to come up. I wonder if he's going to go back into Lucario. He does go back into Sake to get it back up to full. So what was once nearly at 5 health, barely living on from the U-turn, is now back up to full and ready to threaten the team again. So we do see the Dark Pulse come out. It is going to be a 2-shot on the Slowking, and that was a great play in my opinion. I understand that Cresselia was very crucial in taking hits, but this Lucario can threaten Enigmatic's team in so many ways, but the Nidoking is something that can really come in and sponge these Dark Pulses. I stand corrected, it wasn't going to be able to sponge it better than I expected to. So he's fearing that Nidoking's going to outspeed here. He's been playing it like he's been Scarf Fire Blast this entire time, so we'll see if he is. Carbonate decides to switch out though. Goes out into Carmala. And now you can see the offensive pressure from Collins start to really take in here. That Sake and that Absol coming through, and Absol is going to be able to take out another knockout here. So if Absol outspeeds, which is most likely going to be the case unless this Nidoking is Scarf like we've been predicting, we do see the Sucker Punch that is going to be able to take it out. So Absol is cleaning house at the end of the game here. Kartana comes out. Most Absols, Mega Absols, tend to have fire coverage, so we're going to see if there is going to be any fire coverage, but he just has to switch out. He's fearing this Kartana, and he's going to go out into something that can take the hit relatively well, and that is defensive Skarmory for sure, right? So Sacred Sword, my bad, and we do see the hidden power of fire come out the Skarmory. So Colin really bringing the tech on paper, and Enigmatic has the Slowking left, but I don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately. I don't think it is going to be enough. He is going to... Oh, we see the Roost come out. So he's hoping to get maybe a burn here, as Skarmory is going to be able to roost stall, but he doesn't want to play that game. He goes to the Iron Head, knows that the Absol can come back in and revenge. So Colin is going to be able to take a 2-0, and Angela, the Mega Absol, picking up 4 kills in this match. Oricorio getting 1, and Skarmory also getting 1, right? So that Cresselia, it doesn't look like it on paper. That Cresselia put in a lot of work, especially with the Lunar Dance, getting Lucario back in for free and really punching some holes, making sure that Nidoking wasn't going to be able to live the Sucker Punch. Those are all valuable plays in my opinion. And if you top it all off, sorry if you hear some scratching in the background, and you top it all off, that Hitmontop, you know, was really able to slow Colin down for sure. And that Nidoking being Scarf was one of those things where it could have played a valuable asset. It could have played a valuable asset if it was. I do not know for certain, but he was definitely playing it like it was. So, and one more thing to note too. I understand why Carbonite set up early on with the circuitry, but I think the late game circuitry might have put him in a better position, being able to break some more holes. But at the end of the day, you know, coaches team build to really counter. This is counter league format, right? So you're team building to prevent specific Pokemon from being able to hardwall your entire team. So maybe Xurkitree wasn't there for the late game sweep. Maybe Kartana was supposed to be that Pokemon, and he just wasn't expecting the Hidden Power Fire out from Skarmory, as it'd be hard to do because Skarmory's typically pigeonholed into a 4 movesless engine to begin with. That having hazards and stuff, you see Spikes, you see Roost, you see Iron Head, you're not really going to predict its last move to be Hidden Power. So good stuff on paper there, and good game to both coaches, honestly. Well fought battle. 50 turns is a long one, but hopefully the next 2 will be a little bit shorter. So we'll jump right into that. Alright, we have our second match of the week here. We have Pip in the Atlanta Arcanines versus Kingdra Plays Games in the Kansas City Kingdras. Like I said, I'm not going to try and predict any leads or anything. Just big aspects to note, right? The Kingdra did bring the Mega Manectric, and that's huge, right? It outspeeds the entirety of Pip's team, barring Priority and Scarfers. And we do see the Mega Scissor come out for it. You know, Pip, of course, and he's been known in the league to do some shenanigans with Agility, Baton Pass, Scissor, and it's going to be interesting how this match plays out. So, we're going to jump into it here. We're going to jump right into it here. Like I said, I don't want to add too much color commentary. Just really acknowledge the plays that I think in my head too, this is all very subjective, were good. So we're going to see the lead for Bahamut, the Kyurem Black versus the Mega Manectric. So Mega Manectric's going to Mega Evolve, and it most likely is going to get the Intimidate off in Volt Switch if I had to guess. This is a shorter game. It's 31 turns, which is still, you know, in Draft League format, can be long sometimes. So we see the Volt Switch come out, trying to gain momentum and trying to really mitigate the damage from this Kyurem Black, as it is just an offensive powerhouse. Goes out into Amoonguss, and this is substitute comes out for Kyurem Black, right? So Amoonguss is one of those Pokemon, it really doesn't want to take an Ice Hit. It really doesn't want to take an Ice Hit. So he was really there to sponge the ground hit and double out. Kansas City is known for its good moves, and we do see the freeze on the Ice Beam, which is going to play a huge factor, right? Conkeldurr not going to be able to get a hit off and be able to break the sub and be able to Mach Punch and do shenanigans like that. So off the bat, unfortunate for Kansas City, but we're going to see if he's going to be able to come back here. That crit didn't matter, obviously, because of the substitute, and it was going to fade regardless, and you just see that Earth Power really putting in the work. Kyurem Black is one of those Pokemon where we don't really see it clean late game. It's there to break walls, and it's doing just that early on. Close combat, good tech for the Kansas City, really bringing that out. As Rotom Heat is a good counter to Arcanine, of course, not really being able to have that much tech. The prediction comes out, he does go for Shadow Ball. He knew that Claydol was going to have to come back out, so really great read on Pip's end, of course, just trying to wear down his walls as fast as he can, trying to, you know, really play this prediction game. He understands that Kansas City's good at doubles into reading plays and things like that, so Claydol is just going to go straight down to Kieran Black, as Kieran Black is at the point now where pretty much anything can kill it, as we do see the Arcanine come out. So if I stand corrected, I'm pretty sure that either this is a speed tie or he is confident that he's going to outspeed with Scarf. Yep, so it does look like it is a speed tie, so he could be Scarf, he could not be. Maybe he was just playing for the speed tie and hoping that he's faster. The quick attack is going to be able to knock out the Arcanine though, so having priority on Pip's end with the Diggersby, that's really plays a role, right? You're able to get rid of Arcanine, which effectively hard walls some of his other Pokemon, such as Rotom, to an extent, of course. So the Scizor and the Jirachi, the two steel types, are going to come out at each other, and we do see Jirachi just pivot right back out. It doesn't want to stay in. As Manectric comes out, it most likely is going to be packing some fire coverage for this Mega Scizor. So Pip withdraws, smart play on his end. I think Kansas City is forced to go for the fire move here. He has no other option, and yeah, as you can see, he couldn't really Volt Switch there, because if he Volt Switches out and Mega Scizor gets set up in some fashion, that would have been just a bad misplay on the Kansas City's end. At that point, you'd rather have to play safe than sorry. The Hidden Power comes out, it's going to take neutral damage, so looks like it's going to be Hidden Power Ground for the Mega Manectric, as Nihilego really trying to wear down Fungi here. As you can see, Amoonguss is one of those Pokemon that can really take hits if it's designed and molded to do it, right? It can be defensive, it can be specially defensive, and we see here that it was meant to take hits from maybe it's specially defensive. We know that. He switched it in on the Kieran Black, and he switched it in on the Nihilego, and he's just going to keep switching it in on the Nihilego to take these hidden powers. So we see where Kansas City's switching prowess comes into play. Amoonguss and Mega Manectric are two of those Pokemon that really play to his playstyle, or, you know, add on to his playstyle, I should say. As this Nihilego, it was ineffective in being able to take a knockout, trying to predict the read, him switching back out into Mega Manectric like he did last time. Not going to be the case, however, and he's going to go down to Burn. So Amoonguss is really just doing its thing, really just doing this thing at this point. So we do see it was a setup Agility Edward, and we're going to see if he's rocking the Baton Pass like he did last time. And he does have the Baton Pass, so he's most likely going to go out into something really fast like Big Chungus, of course. That puts in the hurt on his team, and Kansas City goes for the Spore, so able to put it to sleep, and that's very bad on Pip's end, right? Because a Giga Drain is going to be able to just bop this thing. Amoonguss is one of those Pokemon where when it gets a Spore out, it can do just too much with that Regenerator. Swap back out, save some health, or it could Giga Drain and, you know, gain its health back that way. So Edward gonna come back out, trying to force out this Amoonguss at this point, and Amoonguss is gonna stay in. He's not really fearing it. He goes for Spore again. We're gonna see if he decides to switch out, and he does, trying to preserve his momentum. He knows his other Pokemon can't get sleep due to Sleep Claws, as Tapu Koko comes out. Now, one thing that is very interesting to see is Tapu Koko came out so late, right? Obviously, he was saving this to be his win con condition with Calm Mind, but in my opinion, if you really wanted to stop Amoonguss, you know, a few turns ago, electric terrain prevents that spore from happening because you can't get sleeped under electric terrain. That's one of its secondary effects outside of giving electric attacks a 1.5 times boost. So I'm not saying it was a bad play. I'm just saying if Pip really wanted to stop those spores early on, he could have switched it to Tapu Koko, even though he was fearing the Sludge Bomb. And Amoonguss here definitely put a dent in his team because he wasn't able to break it. As Rotom comes back out, most likely he's going to have to go for an overheat. Unfortunate miss. I have to say that is an unfortunate miss. It was going to be able to do 50% or so to this Mega Manectric. And as you can see, Hidden Power Ground does jack diddly squat. So Mega Manectric was going to be able to pick off Rotom. And this game is starting to wind down to an end as Mega Manectric will be able to clean here and take out this sleeping Edward. So, good game to both coaches. Seriously, I think both of you guys had incredible plays. Atlanta really having the momentum at the beginning, having Kieran Black just sort of wall break and take down threats early on, such as the Claydol, such as the Conkeldurr. But at the end, it was that Amoonguss that really put him in. So, for that, we're going to jump into our third and final match for the week 3 of the CPL. Now, I'd just like to note that we are going to be recapping what happened to the other 2 matches shortly after, when we get to the dogs portion of the video. And yeah, that should all be explained then. So if you guys are thinking like, wait, only 3 matches, what happened to the other 2? That's why. So we'll get there, I promise. Our third and final match is going to go out to the Vancouver Volcaronas, Bloody Skarmory, of course, versus Azazel, coach of the Fall Arbor Flames. Now, both of these coaches are kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. As going into week 3, Azazel being a substitute coach coming in week 1, they're both 1-1, but Azazel is coming off a nice 3-0 victory in week 2 as opposed to Vancouver's coming off at a loss at 0-2. So both of those coaches, you know, they're trying to prove something. They're both 1-1. It's early on in the season. Winning here really gives a score one or the other. So we're going to see Casey, of course, bring the Mega Gyarados on his side. And we don't see a Mega come out for Azazel. He is not bringing his Mega Lopunny. Very interesting. Mega Lopunny has some good speed tiers, and it is able to outspeed things such as a Gyarados prior to a Dragon Dance. Maybe he was fearing that on Casey, which is Bloody Skarmory side, maybe he was fearing that Mew being a setup, or Haxorus being set up, or Gyarados being set up. A lot of setup going on here, and we're gonna really see how things plan out there. Obviously, the Weavile are going to be able to take care of that Haxorus pretty well, and that Icicle Crash on Nidoqueen and Togekiss. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It'll be very interesting to see how some things play out here. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the, you know, lack of color commentary in these videos, and you're, you know, and you'd rather hear me talk about these more pivotal plays in the match. So we're going to see Necrozma, and we're going to see Mega Gyarados. So Mega Gyarados really threatens Necrozma. It really threatens Necrozma, and it also threatens Dusclops too. So I'm surprised that Dusclops, I can't speak right now. Dusclops is coming out. Crunches, I'm sure, can do a lot, and I understand the Will-O-Wisp is crucial, but if he gets up some Dragon Dances, that speed, even if he gets up a Will-O-Wisp being at +2 speed, it is still going to be deadly. So we're just going to see the Crunch. Maybe he was hoping that he could take him out, as we do see the Will-O-Wisp come off. So if I was Gyarados, I would Dragon Dance again, as Rave Party is going to be coming out. As a crunch, you can see even at -1, a crunch is nearly doing half, as the weakness policy Necrozma is coming out. So weakness policy comes out and we see a very high roll come out and knock out the Necrozma. Now had the Necrozma not been knocked out, it would have gone up and autotomized and things would have got a little ugly from there if it had the coverage. So interesting stuff, interesting tech. I like weakness policy Necrozma. It was just unfortunate that the high roll really got him there. So Queen Elizabeth, the Nidoqueen, comes out versus the Meganium. Meganium is going to be threatened out every time, and he goes into the safe Shell Shock, or so he believes is safe. Thunderbolts, I'm sure from this Nidoqueen being special, will put in the hurt, but Nidoqueen doesn't want to be taking the hits from Blastoise. He decides to switch out. Now, if I was the Fall Over Flames here, I would switch. Of course, and Miltank is just bulking so many aspects. Now, Weavile comes out, and it was an unfortunate miss here, right? Obviously, getting the Thunder Wave off on Weavile is one of those things that would have like completely hindered it. So we're gonna see if he stays in. Goes to the knockoff. Not gonna be able to take out this Miltank, as you can see. And here comes the Thunder Wave. So if he doesn't have Heal Bell on or Aromatherapy on the Meganium, he's gonna be in some trouble, right? Because Weavile doesn't really like that paralysis. As we do see the Miltank go for Milk Drink, and Brick Breaks aren't going to be able to two-shot. So we're in a situation where Krampus is not going to really be winning it here, as Noivern decides to come out, and he's hoping that maybe something of Noivern's can really nuke this Miltank, as Draco Meteor is one of those moves not going to be able to two-shot, and Thunder Wave is going to come out, slowing down that Noivern. And you can see right here that the Volcaronas are going for speed control with these Thunder Waves. He knows that if he can outspeed things like Haxorus at the end game with Dragon Dance, or even Mew, depending on what type of Mew set that it is, can set up and sweep as well. Even Gyarados still, I know it's burned, but you know, it gets up to Dragon Dances, and all of a sudden your attack's at neutral, and you know, your attack's at neutral, you're at +2 speed, you already Thunder Waved everything on the opponent's side, so you're going to be able to really take the game from there. Ball Arbor, of course, trying to keep some offensive pressure going into Noivern, and a paralysis is going to be able to come off, and a little unfortunate, as we do see 2 paralysis in a row, making sure that Bluetooth isn't going to be able to put in the work, and we do see 3 in a row now. Wow. Whitney's going to be able to stay in. There's 4 in a row, so Whitney just really being able to stay in and not take too much damage because of all of these paralysis hacks here. I could officially call it hacks. That was 4 in a row. There's another one too. Bluetooth, which thought that it could be able to take out this Miltank, was not able to, and we're just seeing why Thunder Wave is such a very crucial move. You know, especially coming from Bloody Skarmory, who knows that there's nothing, absolutely nothing on Azazel's side that can take the paralysis. So Togekiss is going to come out. We see it does have the flamethrower, so I'm going to be able to stop. I really wasn't paying attention. I missed if there was a flinch or not with Air Slash. That could have played a major role or not. So Togekiss already tallying up some stuff. We saw Miltank take someone out. We saw Gyarados take someone out. And Ball Over Flames with 3 Pokemon left and 2 which are Thunder Waved. We gotta really make sure we play our sacks right to either preserve differential or, you know, have something up our sleeve. Wow. So Shell Shock now, which is just also being dwindled, is Air Slash. We're just seeing why Togekiss is one of those Pokemon with Serene Grace that can be super annoying, as it does take down Blastoise, and Togekiss is still pretty much at full health with its leftovers. As Mummy comes out, we know Mummy is sitting at, 60% after Stealth Rock's going to be going down to near half. And Vancouver saying, I think that, I believe that Togekiss can win this match, so I'm going to go into Mew, right? As Knockoff comes off, going to be able to get rid of the Eviolite, so this looks like it's going to be a support Mew, as Pain Split does a lot, right? Rufus being at 100 health, or 100 base HP, is one of those valuable techs. So, Togekiss is going to be able to come back out with 2 Mons left on Fall Arbor's end, and with Mew being so healthy and Wishmaker being incredibly healthy, we do see 1 flinch come off, and with Paralysis too, it's going to be, yep, see, this is where Hacks really plays a crucial portion to it, right? So Air Slash is going to be able to come out, we see a critical hit, and it's not going to be able to flinch, and he does break through Paralysis, which is very interesting, right? So 60% chance to flinch with Air Slash, and 50% chance to paralyze. It was one of those situations where he had to really stay in, and Meganium's not going to be able to take Air Slashes here, and it looks like Vancouver is going to be able to take what is considered the first official 6-0 in the league, if I do stand things corrected. Yep, so we're going to see the Leech Seed come out. Maybe his Leech Seed protects. He's going to save Wishmaker, so he's saying, you know what, if he has some crazy shenanigans, I want to preserve differential here, as he goes for Toxic. Good switch then on his end, getting rid of the Leech Seed, knowing the Toxic's going to be coming, and Nidoqueen looks like it's going to be able to just Toxic. Oh, it's running Toxic as well. I wonder if it's carrying Sludge Bomb. Maybe being able to knock out this Pokemon here, this Meganium. Giga Drain comes off. You can see it doesn't do a lot to Nidoqueen, and Sludge Wave is going to be able to be a 2-shot after Poison. So, Vancouver, unless something else crazy happens in the last few turns here, is going to be able to pick up the 6-0. Yeah. It is going to be able to pick up the 6-0. So, I have to say, good match to both coaches. Actually, Nidoqueen does switch out and goes for the healthy Pokemon here, knowing that it could take the Giga Drain, it resists, and he just is going to let Toxic damage take out the Meganium. So, Togekiss putting up 3 kills in that match really shows just how Serene Grace, flinch, Togekiss, defensive. It doesn't really need to invest in attack to be a threat. I do have to say on Azazel's end though, it is very crucial to understand that Necrozma with weakness policy, it could have just simply put in the finest of work had the high roll not come out for Mega Gyarados. That is the game of Pokemon though. There is hacks, especially with Serene Grace, that I don't even consider that hacks at that point. It's more on your side to flinch than it is not. And with Thunder Waves and everything, Casey had a strategy going into it and he implemented it well. And I think Azazel is really going to go back on this 0-6 and reflect and be able to, just come back. So I have full hope in all the coaches to be able to bounce back. It's only week 3 in the season, and with that, it comes a few more weeks to make sure that you can secure a playoff spot, and anything can happen. So with all that said, we're gonna jump into the I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit. We're gonna jump into the Google Sheets here and talk about what happened in the last 2 matches. Alright guys, we're back, and I just want to recap what is going to be happening for the last 2 matches that we didn't really cover, right? So, you guys have already seen 3. We're on the docs now. We're going to be talking about some of the details, who's leading the league. As you can see on the main page right now, we've got some stats going on, so let's break it down real quick, right? So, first up, the 2 teams that I want to address in particular are Portland Thunders versus the Seattle Seahawks now. Portland Thunders did unfortunately have a disconnect on their end, so you know, it is what it is. It was so late in the match that they, you know, talked it out. They figured out what was going to happen turn by turn. It was really that close to the end of the match, apparently. So Portland Thunders is going to take a 1-0 victory. So with that said, let me get to the Seattle Seahawks page, and we could talk about what went on, right? So, alright, sorry about that. I just had to fix some things there, and I didn't want to live edit. So, as you can see on week 3, there was a very close matchup here. Gardevoir ended up getting 3 more kills, so Gardevoir's on a spree this season. It's confirmed. Of course, Shempy knows how to use that. The Blissey and the Tornadus both got 1 kill too. Again, I don't really know much about the match, but if we go over to the Portland Thunders side, we can see that the Chandelure, I believe it was Spec Chandelure, is what Portland brought, and it's just one of those Pokemon where it's got a tremendous special attack stat. I think we can pull it up over here. Yeah, 145 special attack, as you can see there. It's just one of those wall breakers, right? So Spec Shandy put in the work against Shempy, and I think it was just one of those things that, even though he prepared for it, you know, what are you gonna do? You gotta give it to Portland Thunders too. Of course, 1-0, narrow victory. The second matchup I want to talk about is the Rome Empoleons, coached by Aaron, and the Seattle Super Skeptals, coached by Brandon. So, the thing that I want to really hone in on is, this was a 6-0, right? And you look at the stat sheet and you say, wait, Darmanitan's the only Pokemon with 2 kills? What happened there? And why is there not a replay? So, essentially what happened was the Rome Empoleons had to take a forfeit. They had to take a 0-6 forfeit. There were some scheduling conflicts along with some DCs and some things that happened really behind the scenes. And it's unfortunate, but it's the way that the league is structured, and you know, sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. So at the end of the day, Seattle Super Skeptals, this does give him a nice plus-minus differential at +3 in the league, as you can see in the top left. So that really did help him out here. I think that the Rome Empoleons, though, they're pretty good battlers. They're starting off with a rough season, of course, 1-2, but they went to the championship last season undefeated all the way up till the championship. So there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to come back from this, especially with the type of team that they have built for them. Like I said, I'm not too worried about them coming back in the standings. In fact, hopefully, you know, he takes his 0-6 loss as a way to reflect and say, you know, I just need to come back next week and really try and get up my plus-minus is all I'm trying to get at there. So now that we covered those 2 matches kind of in depth, to the extent that I know the knowledge of, right? So with all that said, jumping back here at the main page, we see Kartana still in the you know, lead leaguers with 9 kills. Same with Gardevoir and Mega Medicham tied at 7. The only thing setting Gardevoir and Medicham apart, of course, is the 1 death there. So you see Pokemon with a lot of speed and a lot of priority, right? Diggersby, Milotic, Kartana. I'm not really Milotic. I meant to say Mega Lopunny, but Milotic is up there. You know, in week 3, we're starting to see some Pokemon start to really jump ahead of others, right? We see, you know, of course, on my team, the Kyurem and the Landorus, they're at 4 kills. They're, you know, my league leaders on my team, at least, as opposed to a team like Enigmatic, where Kartana has really just been the reason why they're just, I don't even know. Cartana's really putting in the work this season. Same with Gardevoir. It's really keeping up their plus minuses. You can see that they're just out of playoff contention, but we're so early in the season. There's 11 matches. We're only done with week 3. Week 4 is going to be coming around the corner. I have full faith in all these coaches that they can really really jump back into it. I consider this league one of the most competitive in my opinion. So with that recap all said and done, I'm gonna get up out of here, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Yes, hello, sorry, I'm back. I know I said that the video was going to end, but I missed something a little bit crucial. As you can see in the free agency transactions, I don't want to leave the Enigmatic Elecmortars hanging here. They made 2 trades, and they're going to be effective this upcoming week, week 4. Now, if you look at his team, he has made 2 transactions. Slowking for Slowbro and Ribombee for Masquerain. Now, I was able to talk to him after the trade to figure out what his insight was a little bit and why he did this to his team. He said essentially that Slowbro, he likes the fact that it has Regenerator, and to top it all off, it just kind of helps him pivot into things. And the Masquerain, of course, has Sticky Webs and Intimidate, and as you can tell by his team, he has 4 Intimidators at this point, so good luck bringing a physical hitter on, against him, of course. I just think at the end of the day, he really wanted the Intimidate. He wanted the Sticky Webs for speed control, and Slowbro, he had the points to opt to get Slowbro over Slowking, a little bit more defensive than Slowking, and I, have to say that it was probably the better trade-off. Obviously, he trades Regenerator for Regenerator, but still, at the end of the day, I think it's going to pair out with his team, provide him just that extra oomph, not oomph, but just that little bit of padding that his team didn't necessarily lack, but could easily use there. So now, I believe we are officially done, and I will catch you guys in the next one.